Welcome to TRS Clips, where you'll find happiness through your own curiosity.
Not human beings. I would also not say wildlife. Your most potent enemy would be the weather. The weather, when it turns bad, like you get into a snowstorm, you get into bad rain and wind. Here it's fun to go on a monsoon trek in the Sahyadris, but if you get stuck there in bad weather, it's a totally different story because it's like -10, -20. Snow is hitting your face. It's like freezing. So shelter and being safe against the nature's fury at high altitude is important.
So if it starts raining there, the rain immediately turns into snow, hits your face, burns it up a little bit.
Yeah, you have to be careful when the weather turns bad, because at 5,000 meters you're extremely exposed. I mean, it's like turning the dial. You have to amplify the impact of the weather as you go higher and higher. A lot of people die, actually, mountaineers, when they hang on these, when they climb those peaks, because they are exposed and they're hanging on a rope, they can't get away. I usually try to keep myself safe by keeping my feet on the trails. So in case the weather turns bad, you can quickly come down to lower altitude, find like a rock or a cave or something where you can shelter for a day or two until the weather turns good again.
So that's a mechanism to safeguard your body.
Yeah.
Like that you try staying on the main trail rather than going off trail.
Yeah, so I'm more of a hiker. I'm not really a mountaineer who climbs peaks, right? So mountaineering is also pretty popular amongst the youngsters. I'm more of an explorer who kind of stays on the trail. I just cross mountain passes that connect one valley to the next valley. But if there is an issue that the weather turns bad quickly, you can kind of quickly come down via the trail to a lower altitude where the impact, the strength of the bad weather will be less. Find a shelter, like a rock shelter, and sit out the bad weather until it becomes safe again to venture out.
Are you able to predict when the weather is going to get bad?
It's difficult. As you go higher, the weather becomes more volatile. So
randomly, quickly, things can change.
You have those snow-covered peaks, right? And then as the sun rises during the day, it gets hotter. There is some kind of interference that happens there between the planet and the skies, and it quickly changes, especially in summer when the sun is hot. Winter is more stable, the weather, so then you can go through snow-covered landscape.
Winter is more stable.
It's more stable, yeah. There will be less, because there is less heat, I think. It's mostly the heat and the evaporation of the moist in the forest that causes a lot of turbulence at higher altitude. So nothing like a couple of months walking in the snow in winter with a blue sky, which is a beautiful contrast with the white snow, knowing that mostly it'll be pretty stable the winter.
What's the coldest you felt on one of these expeditions?
Yeah, it all depends. Like sometimes usually you try to camp a little bit in the valley at lower altitude, but sometimes to capture that beautiful sunset or sunrise, you try to camp on top of a peak where you're fully exposed at 360 degrees. You're camping in frozen snow. Sometimes I think it has been like you just pitch up your tent and immediately you see the frost forming on the inside of the sheet of the tent, like some -20 or so. And then you need a good sleeping bag, like a -12, -15 degree sleeping bag to keep yourself warm. Daytime is okay. I usually go in shorts. I will even sink in snow in shorts. I will go through wild streams in shorts because you keep moving, Ranveer. So your body generates a lot of internal heat. But as soon as you pitch up your tent at the end of the night, the sun disappears behind the mountain. The temperature will drop from, say, 20 degrees to -10. And you really need to keep yourself warm until the sun rises up again the next morning.
So recently I went to Gulmarg in Kashmir.
Okay.
The way to go to Gulmarg is you go to Srinagar first, and then you drive up to Gulmarg. So I went to Srinagar on the 3rd, and my family was supposed to arrive on the 4th.
Yeah.
But it started snowing so much in Srinagar that my family couldn't make it to Srinagar. Yeah. So I was kind of stuck in Srinagar alone. Yeah. And I thought, okay, it's fine. Let me go and explore Gulmarg. When I went to Gulmarg, I realized it's a bit of a ski town. Like people go there to ski, to snowboard. Yeah. Even the hotel I was at, Shaw Inn, to get out of that hotel, you had to be careful not to slip in the snow. It wasn't simple to walk in the snow. And this was the first time I was experiencing that depth of snow. Yeah. On the way to Gulmarg, they make you stop at a rental place and
Get these suits, I guess.
yeah,
right?
buy those big jackets, which I understood. I thought, okay, it must be much colder up there. That's fine.
Yeah.
But they also make you buy these tall boots.
Okay.
And that was a new thing for me because I've never experienced that height of snow.
Yeah.
Then the moment you reach Gulmarg, you see all the snow around you. So your first instinct is, hey, I want to run in the snow. So I started running in the snow. But because it was so deep, some of the snow entered the tall boot.
And it starts melting.
Yeah. And then you realize, oh, my foot is feeling a little numb. And then I realized, okay, that's why the tall boots exist in the first place.
Yeah.
If you try just wearing sneakers or something like that, even if the snow doesn't enter your sneakers, what ends up happening is that the sneaker becomes cold from underneath and the cold starts coming in from underneath.
Correct.
So walking around and just being in snow is not as simple as
it looks
on Cartoon Network. It's a little more complex.
Yeah, correct.
And my first thought in Gulmarg was good that my family didn't get this flight because there's a 2-year-old child.
Okay.
My sister's also not very big on like exploration and all that.
Yeah.
Like, they're homebodies.
Yeah.
So that was my first thought. But my second thought was, wow, let's explore this. Like, this is fun, but you need to know how to go through snow.
Yeah, correct.
The reason I'm bringing this up is I walked in about minus 14-degree temperature. I did a 30-minute hike from one hotel to another at 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
In the night.
Yeah, and they say that there are leopards and bears in the Gulmarg territory. It's relatively safe, but I was scared. I was cold, but I was at peace. I was enjoying myself. Some dogs were walking with me. It was fun. I can't imagine what it's like on the top of a peak.
Yeah, it gets more, and sometimes you get like 30, 50 feet snow deposit in winter, which gets compacted into ice. And you can see that when you then explore in the next summer, you have these big ice bridges, snow bridges, kind of, they call it, over the stream. So where they still exist at the beginning of the summer. So it's like massive, yeah. And snow is fun. Snow is usually a bit soft. You get a grip. But then the next morning when the snow is frozen, and if you combine frozen snow, which is hard and slippery, with like a steep trail, then it becomes quite tricky sometimes.
Dangerous.
Yeah. Because you don't get grip on that anymore. You need like an ice axe sometimes to cut your way through those steep frozen snow gullies on the way to the mountain pass, to the peak.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out all the other clips we've uploaded on this channel. You'll find a clip related to almost every single topic as long as you're willing to search for it.